Hello, Commander. This is Commander Felix Jefferson here, bringing you a special bulletin about these next two episodes. The next two episodes being episode 22 and episode 23. These ones have never actually been broadcast or published anywhere due to the recent station shakeup that we had in the later parts of 3303. And so these can almost even be thought of as lost episodes of the talk show, but they're old enough at this point where it didn't really make sense for us to broadcast them. So these are just going straight up here. So enjoy. Hello, Commander, and welcome back to the Radio Sidewinder talk show. I am Commander Felix Jefferson, and as usual, I'm joined by...
Hi, I'm Commander Steven Atronach, and thanks for joining us this evening. We actually just had a heck of a time at the Halloween party that went on. It was pretty intense.
That was a crazy party. Yeah,
it was really cool. They brought in spiced apple rum from Harm, which is pretty cool. And the whole Radio Sidewinder crew was there, and we had just a lot of time. We all dressed up, and our costumes were awesome.
Yeah, unlike some of the other people who didn't seem to quite get the idea, I don't think. But
yeah, some people weren't dressed up, and I feel like a lot of people didn't appreciate my Aisling costume. But you know, it's okay. It happens. But yeah, I mean, it was really good. A lot of people were worried, you know, with the Thargoids out and everything like that. You know, the party was going to get attacked by Thargoids or something crazy like that. You know, it's a very dangerous time to travel right now. But it went out really well. Nobody got hurt, at least not by Thargoids. I mean, you know, with that much rum, anybody can get hurt. And it's really good. And it's really good that we all went in our own ships, because I've been hearing that capital ships have been found to be particularly vulnerable now to Thargoid attacks.
Yeah, it seems like, at least from reports that are coming in through Galnet, that the Thargoids are using new tactics, and they're attacking our capital ships by, I guess, like wolfpack hunting almost, where they gang up on the capital ships, and they all fire one of their EMP blasts at once, and it just completely cripples the capital ship.
Yeah, and I think, and the issue is, I mean, you know, we've got a shutdown field neutralizer now, but it's not ready for capital ships. I guess they've had a lot of trouble adapting the technology to the larger spacecraft carriers and large ships like that. I mean, the biggest ship it seems to be working on okay is your Beluga cutter corvette sized ships. When they start getting beyond that too much, it starts to get a little hard to adapt to that size. And I don't even know how one of the personal ships size like that would even fare against multiple shutdown fields at the same time.
Yeah, it might still be able to get attacked by the shutdown field. If maybe it will like overload our countermeasures, but we don't really know yet.
Well, there's a couple issues with that though. I mean, the capital ships are a very big part of both the Federal and Imperial Navy, and now they're pretty much useless against Thargoids, which is rough because it's a large part. And in the Pallades even, you know, there's still Thargoids taking occupied escape pods and kidnapping humans. Right. So in order to try to combat the Thargoids and push them away, you know, the Aegis is kind of using some of its funding to get military operations underway. Essentially, they're going through the Pilots Federation to offer extra rewards to people who take out Thargoid ships in their own aircraft or their own spacecraft, because, you know, we don't get shut down and we're still somewhat able to take them out, but you know, those capital ships can't. So without the capital ships being able to stop them, it's pretty much just up to us.
Yeah. It's I mean, when it comes down to it, it's definitely a very dangerous mission, but I mean, if these Thargoids are still, like you said, taking our occupied escape pods and pulling people out of Witch Base and Super Cruise, then I think that we need to do something to at least get the message across that we don't want them doing what they're doing.
Yeah, we really don't like that.
Yeah, it's not really something we enjoy. So yeah, I think that this operation is definitely needed, and I think I'm going to fly out there, and maybe we can get a wing with the rest of the Radio Sidewinder crew and go hunt some Thargoids.
Yeah, I mean, we've already taken a couple out in populated space. It's not even like we were all the way out in the Pallades doing it. Right. It's the thing. They've been spreading out, and it's getting more and more dangerous to go anywhere at this point.
Plus, at least right now, the Pilots Federation is giving out some pretty hefty
combat rewards for taking down a Thargoid. As of right now, it's about 1,000,000 credit bounty. It may be for only one Thargoid, but still, that's a lot of credits.
Yeah, a lot of credits. Plus, they're going to give you a reward for taking them out. So I'm sure it'll draw in a lot of pilots who are looking for some money. And have some decent combat ships. Now, I mean, you got to be careful. They can take down ships pretty easily. Still, just because you don't get shut down doesn't mean they're an easy target.
Yeah, most definitely.
They're pretty tough. So you definitely need to be careful going out them. Definitely go in a wing or a group and try to get some of those Thargoids down. I don't think there's been much success taking them down solo, to be honest.
No, I mean I think there's like a few commanders that have done it, but they were hurting by the time of they actually got it all the way down. And it's not. I mean, the way I see it, you still kill a Thargoid if you're in a wing. Really the only thing that you gain by doing it by yourself is I guess, pride in saying that you took down a Thargoid by yourself. But I mean, it's not really worth your life or your ship, in my point of view.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the Pilots Federation rewards every pilot involved, regardless of how many there are. They give them equal rewards. I mean, if you're going to get 1,000,000 credits for shooting down a Thargoid, if you're by yourself, you'll get 1,000,000 credits. If you're with 4 people, you'll still get 1,000,000 credits. But so will they.
Right,
they want to make sure that these people are safe, even though they logistically would only have to pay out 250,000 credits per pilot. They're still willing to put forth that extra amount, so people don't feel like they want to be brave or go out there and endanger themselves unnecessarily just to take out a Thargoid and get that extra money. It seems a little risky. And it brings a little bit of confusion to me, at least, with Aegis. Anyway, I've been a little confused by them. I mean, obviously they put a lot of effort into making sure we have these anti-Thargoid weapons and we have a way to defend ourselves and not get shut down. But I could have sworn, at least from their initial statements and stuff, that they were a fairly peaceful group, and now they're openly supporting military actions against Thargoids and going on to go fighting. I'm wondering if they could be using that budget maybe to work on some more communications or better ways to understand the Thargoids.
There's definitely been a lot of people that are questioning Aegis's ties to INRA, even, I saw.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's a lot of conspiracies going around, especially that we found the INRA bases, and we're now investigating them and found out that they tested on live Thargoid samples and all that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you've got of course your big humanitarian leaders like Aisling, for instance. She's stated that she's actually disgusted at the way that INRA was experimenting on living Thargoids and essentially torturing them in order to find these bioweapons, and is worried that while INRA was like a smokescreen, essentially was a way to keep people from looking too much into it,
right?
But was really just a military program. Some people are kind of following that line of thinking about Aegis as well. Now, so far, no one's spoken out against Aegis publicly, and there's been no super big reason to suspect Aegis. But you've got to think it's happened before. It could happen again.
It can happen again.
It's surprising. It's still surprising to me that there's so much we don't know about what happened before, even though it was a big event. The Thargoids invading, big enough to cause all this controversy and make people resort to experimenting on living creatures and bioweapons and things like that. And yet we still don't quite know what went on, why the Thargoids were here or why they're here now.
At least the way it is right now, it seems like there is almost like a cover-up, because, I mean, if we had even all that data from back then, we would have some knowledge on what happened in those bases, what happened in the war, maybe even what happened to bring the Thargoids back right now.
Yeah.
But, I mean, the fact that we don't know anything is a little strange to me. And also, in the Pleiades right now, alongside that operation to destroy Thargoids, there is a rescue operation where commanders can, if they don't feel comfortable taking on Thargoids, they can be search and rescue and find the occupied escape pods of crashed ships and turn them in. But the weird thing is, it isn't Aegis that's supporting this. It's the Cooper Research Associates.
Yeah, which is pretty strange. You figure Aegis would be right on top of that, wanting people to be rescued as well. And that's why I'm worried. Maybe it really is history repeating itself. What if what if we just focus too much on how to destroy the Thargoids and not understanding what they're doing here and why they came here in the first place or why they came here before, and then give it another couple hundred years and we'll be in the same situation. We need to figure out why and what we can do to prevent that, rather than figuring out how to just get rid of them right now. And of course, we need to be able to defend ourselves, but we can do that now.
Yeah, we have all the weapons that we need, and as long as we're in wings and all that. I mean, technically, like we said, some people have taken on Thargoids by themselves. It's just not recommended, but it's still just and also the other thing that I'm wondering is, how does this tie in to all of the, like we were talking about last week, the Guardians? What happened to them?
Yeah, because it seemed like we had quite a lot of research going into there, and I wonder if maybe Aegis could put some of its resources not only to the Thargoids, but also to the Guardians. I mean, they're supposed to be looking for these extraterrestrials, or these aliens, these beings that aren't from the bubble. It's like
right.
These mysterious things that we just don't know anymore. So we need to figure out what's going on with not just the Thargoids, but also the Guardians, especially since the Thargoids have a very negative and almost fearful reaction to the Guardian tech. Even just looking at that might give us some insights on how to defeat them, or what's going on with that.
Yeah, and I mean, we've already found plenty of the Guardian puzzles, I guess you could say.
Yeah, there's sites
or ruins. Yeah. And there's probably a few more scattered throughout the galaxy, and they probably have a lot of information in the center or something. I don't know. I don't really know how those ruins work, but I mean, there must be something that explains why the Thargoids react so negatively whenever we encounter Guardian and Thargoid tech.
Hopefully we'll get some more answers for all that in the future. I think at the moment it's about time to take a short commercial break.
Yeah, be sure to stay for the second part, though, Commander, because we got something interesting.
Yeah, something real exciting that we've had some help from the community with. So we'll be back in just a few minutes. Welcome back, Commander, and we've come back from our short commercial break to tell you some very exciting things. We did a Q&A.
Yeah.
Yeah, we put up a post on the Galnet inviting listeners to come ask us questions. And we got quite a few interesting questions here, so I'm going to let Felix start with the first one.
All right, thank you very much. So, our first question comes from Commander Worried in Woolungu, I guess. I've never heard of that system before, but okay. I think my girlfriend may actually be a Thargoid. How can I tell for sure, and what should I do if she is? It's not necessarily a deal breaker,
That's a tough question.
That's a very tough question.
I think... Is she a flower? Also, does she burp a lot? Because they make that noise, and it could be confused with burping.
Yeah, and also you got to do the apple bob challenge. If she does not do apple bobbing too great, she may be a Thargoid because of the
I'm pretty sure
ammonia life form, not messing with water, and all that.
Unless you accidentally put the apples in ammonia.
That
Don't do that.
Right.
Okay. I don't know if she is a Thargoid. I guess try to communicate with her and see where she is on the relationship, and if you guys are on the same page. It's really just don't let Aegis find out.
Right. Yeah.
Let's see. We also got a question from Commander Seriously Sick of Searching, saying, I've been looking for modular terminals for weeks, but can only seem to find them secondhand from some frankly pretty shady individuals. Any way I can buy these directly from the manufacturer, or I don't know, build them myself? How hard can it be? That is, if you find the answer to that, let me know. Because, you're not the only one looking for these modular terminals.
There's a whole lot of people that need those right now.
Oh yeah, as a pirate radio station, I know a few of our crew members have been talking about how it's easy to pick them up off of Type 9s that happen to drop cargo places and then blow up. Just happen to be there if a Type 9 blows up, and there might be some modular terminals.
Yeah. Well, I guess let's see. Where's another good one? Okay, here we go. I'm halfway to Hutton Orbital, and I'm bored out of my skull. I'm sure the free Anaconda will be worthwhile, but in the meantime, any suggestions on how to pass the time? I already tried I Spy, but the ship computer has no imagination. This is from Commander, why is light speed so slow?
Yeah, Hutton Orbital, it's quite the trip, but the free Anaconda is definitely worth it.
Yeah.
The biggest problem I've found is sometimes the first time you get there, like, you know, because so many people go there to get the free Anaconda, sometimes they run out.
Yeah.
So what I've heard is that when you go there, if they don't have one, just come back a week or two later, and, you know, it should be there then. If it's not there then, again, you know, just keep coming back until you get it.
Yeah,
you know, it's a long trip.
I mean, because it takes them a while to get them shipped out there because of the long distance away from the entry point.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, you know, it takes them a while. But, I mean, the best thing I can tell you right now is here at Radio Sidewinder, we got a whole plethora of entertainment to keep you not bored.
Yeah, absolutely. Listen to Radio Sidewinder. That's what we're here for.
Yeah. This is our job.
All right. Yeah, exactly. Okay, we've got a question from Commander Freely floating in Faceti. I've always been confused about how to pronounce that.
I never actually learned how to pronounce.
Don't ask me how, but I've somehow managed to get stuck floating in the middle of the cargo hold. 0G can be a real pain sometimes. Any ideas to help a sister out? Yeah, floating in the cargo hold. Do you have a computer near you? You may be able to contact... I don't know if the fuel rats will come out and help you get out of your floating in your cargo hold. And I believe there's a setting on your magnetic boots that you can turn them up so that they'll actually pull you towards the walls of wherever of your cargo hold. So hopefully you can find that setting. If not, you know, just spin right round like a record, baby.
Well, I do know that some of the newer artificial grav systems that, like, Zorgon Peterson is putting out, they have it where you can go into the ship computer and tweak it a little bit. So you may be able to turn it up in some direction just so that you can, you know, get out of your situation. But I don't know. If you don't have a newer system, then I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah. Let's see. Do you have any more questions here?
Yeah, here's one. Oh, this is a good one. Commander Hypo Gamer 45 asks, why Sidewinder? Why not Hauler or Adder or Cobra Mark III or Anaconda? You get the idea. He's referencing the station name, I believe.
Yeah. It was actually kind of an interesting journey. I went on to find the answer to that question because, believe it or not, neither of us knew.
Yeah, we've worked here for quite some time, but we had no idea why it was called Radio Sidewinder.
I actually started with asking arbitration, and you know, he's been here since he was like one of the first few on the crew. And the first thing he said when I asked him was, "I have no idea. You have to ask Black Bart."
Yeah, so that's when we realized, you know, we gotta pull out the big guns. Yeah, take it to the top.
We did research to answer this question.
So I then approached Black Bart, and, you know, I asked him, well, what was the rationale behind it when, you know, you, Arbitration, Neuroplay, all of those guys were setting up the station? And he said, well, actually, it was just way back before even those guys started, when he was just running the station out of his Sidewinder, when he started interdicting people and literally making it pirate radio. He said that he just got the idea to name it after the Sidewinder because that's everyone knows the Sidewinder. It's their starting ship.
Everyone gets one now.
Yeah.
That's what the Pilot Federation gives out now, and that's, you know,
so
it's fair.
That's why he named it Radio Sidewinder.
Okay, I've got a let's see. I've got a letter here from Commander Zarek Null.
Oh,
the Overlord of Erevan.
Yeah,
so,
I wonder how he's doing. I've met him before.
I don't know. But he asks, why did Radio Sidewinder never respond to my song submissions? Shameless discrimination against overlords is illegal in most and soon to be all jurisdictions.
Oh, that's right. He is the Overlord of Erevan. Yeah, he tried to say or tried to get me to say that he was also my overlord, but of course I had to refuse and say that Black Bart is our overlord here at Radio Sidewinder and should not be contested.
Togo's a long way from Arabit.
Yeah, so I don't know what he's talking about. But, I mean, in regards to that question, you know, you may be the overlord of Arabit, but galactic copyright law still does apply to Radio Sidewinder.
Yeah, surprisingly for a pirate radio station, we do try not to step on any copyright scandals. And, you know, maybe if your song submissions were good...
Oh, yeah.
Play them. No.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think we have some more questions.
Yeah, we got some more down here. Let's see. Commander Scandalicious. That's a good name. I'd love to hear your thoughts, advice, and experience with finding an engaging wow, I messed it up. I'd love to hear your thoughts, advice, and experience in finding and engaging in Commander-created local factions to enhance depth in personal experience.
Yeah, actually, this is pretty cool because, I mean, you're obviously on the Radio Sidewinder crew. We both are. I think that's a great minor faction to join. You know, we're not attached at the hip to any governments, but the biggest thing to find is like, because I've been a part of a few different groups.
Right, because you were with Ashling's Angels and
Ashling's Angels, Prismatic Imperium. Yep. The biggest thing to do is find your what kind of things you want to stand for, and to find a group of commanders that feel the same way. A lot of them will have places to go on the Galnet where you can become part of their team, and you know there's usually a light screening process, but most of them are fairly friendly. There's some for pirates. There's some for people who, you know, support all sorts of things. I mean, like, for instance, I chose Ashling's Angels because while I supported Ashling's ideas behind making slavery illegal in the Empire and even imperial slavery illegal, which is great, Ashling's Angels isn't tied to the Empire. So you can further Ashling's ideals without becoming wanted by the Empire or going against the Empire, essentially. You won't have to worry about crossing those lines. So I think that's just the best thing to do, is look for some people who are out there that have the same ideals you do.
Yeah, that's definitely what I would say too.
All right. We've got a few questions from Commander Karayan Werfel. So I'm just going to read them all, and we'll just do a kind of an answer here, a little conversation about them. So first, he wants to know our opinions on the Pilots Federation and the club. Is their shadowy manipulation or control of the major superpowers justified, or is it against the possibility of another war with Xenos? And on Xenos, what do we think the Thargoids are up to? If this war, they're certainly taking their time getting to it. What do we think their motivations are? Why do we think they've returned? And what do you think what do we think they hope to achieve? What do we think is in the Col 70 unknown permit zone, with the Guardian ruins all along the outside edge of it, which is very interesting.
Yeah, I didn't even know that.
Yeah, and the recent discoveries of barnacles in the permit-free section around Witch Head, which has got to be something interesting as well. And finally, coffee or tea?
Oh, well, that's the most important one out of all of them, really.
I think we should answer that one first.
Yeah, and I think we're both in agreement here.
Yeah, I would say, well, I enjoy both. I definitely would go with tea.
Yeah, most definitely tea.
We drink a lot of tea at this station.
Yeah. Well, I mean...
So I guess let's start with the Pilots Federation.
Yeah.
I have always been a little hesitant to give control to the Pilots Federation. I really, really, really avoid making insurance claims, because I don't want to owe them for my insurance.
Yeah.
I actually, they give you a Sidewinder when you start piloting, but I actually gave them back their Sidewinder and got my own because I didn't want to owe them anything. I didn't want to have any permanent ties. Now, I understand the Pilots Federation is involved in everything. It's very hard to get around with it. But while it may be justified right now, and it seems to be doing okay at generally keeping everybody kind of equal, it's, it is a big organization. It's okay to be suspicious.
Yeah. I mean, just like we were talking about Aegis earlier, so,
Yeah, I mean, Aegis isn't even nearly as big as the Pilots Federation.
Yeah.
And the Pilots Federation I don't think they directly control the superpowers, but they are able to manipulate them very easily.
Yeah, definitely.
Because they license all pilots. So, but I think it is good to have at least one general thing out there that's not under control of the major superpowers.
Yeah. Okay, so on the Xenos, well, these questions right here about the Thargoids, we kind of discuss a lot on the show.
We talk about that a lot.
Yeah.
We do talk about Thargoids a lot, but I am interested in discussing the Col 70 unknown permit.
Yeah, because that's news to me. Well, I knew that Col 70 had a lot of permit zones that were locked, but I did not know that the Guardian ruins were around the outer edge of them. That's interesting.
Yeah, and the barnacles around the Witch's Head.
Yeah,
that's kind of cool too.
Yeah, I mean, I remember, what was it, 2 years ago now or something? I did my first exploration trip out to Bernard's Loop, and you know, I ran into a bunch of those permit locked areas, which it was definitely baffling, because if it's not even occupied space, why
is there permits there?
Why are we locking them out? So I definitely think that that's kind of sketchy. Is it the Pilots Federation that does permit locking, or is it the governments that do permit locking?
I think it's a mixture of both.
Okay.
I think a lot of it is the Pilots Federation for some of the faraway ones. But I mean, you can tell things like Akinar,
right,
and Sol and
yeah,
Summerland.
Right.
Those are all permit locked by the governments themselves, because those unlock if you become a certain ranking within them.
Yeah.
But I don't think that a lot of them are done by the governments, because, you know, no matter how high you get up in their ranking system, you're never going to unlock them.
Right. Yeah.
And you know, could be Pilots Federation.
Yeah.
Could have more into that shadowy manipulation.
Right.
Pilots Federation.
Yeah. I heard that there was actually a commander that tried to sneak in to one of those systems. I don't know how well it went for them, but you know, maybe it's something to look into.
And if you think about it, we're finding out all this stuff about INRA that we should have known, because it's 200-year-old news, really.
Yeah.
And it's like, maybe out there's something else that we've already known about, but is being hidden for now.
Right.
And potentially for the future, because they don't want us to know about it. People didn't want us to know about INRA because they didn't want us to know about the testing on live Thargoids and the biological warfare experimentation that they did. And that's mainly the reason, it seems so anyway, that they covered it up, because people are very, you know, disturbed by that now. And it was covered up then, and it was covered up all the way until now, when all of a sudden we're being attacked by Thargoids again. Right. We've got to find a way to beat them. So I'm wondering if there's something out there that the Pilots Federation or whoever's permit locked these systems knows about, that maybe as the Thargoid threat gets more serious, or if the Guardians should return, those will be unlocked, and they'll be asking people to go explore them to find this information for them.
Right. Oh yeah, looks like one more question from them.
Asking about lights in witch space.
Yeah,
you know, it's hard to talk about lights in witch space, because you're going so fast. I mean, it could be anything. It could be glitches on the radar, or just, you know, you can't really see at light speed, can you? And I mean, witch space isn't really moving through space. It's essentially a little gravitational wormhole that you're moving space around you. So I don't really.
That being said, there are definitely some new anomalies in there, because when I was jumping away from the party and towards the Pleiades, there was definitely some differences that I saw. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, it could just be all normal, but I mean, that's the problem. We don't really understand witch space at all. So
I mean, if you think about it, you look at, you know, just a year ago, even within the last year, frameshift drive technology has come so far. And even 20, 30 years ago, you couldn't even put a frameshift drive on a Sidewinder.
Right.
And, you know, a jump took weeks. Now, jumps are fairly instantaneous, and we can do things like we can, you know, siphon power from neutron stars and white dwarves, and we've got all this, you know, we can plot farther now, because this technology is just getting better and better. And even in the last year, we've seen differences in the way that we see witch space as we pass through. It could just be, honestly, the better technology allowing us to see more of it as we're going through. Right. You know, because I don't know, maybe it's just easier to see at this point. There's quite a few explanations for it, but I don't think any of them are going to be particularly satisfying.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you want to take this next one, or?
I think you can go for it.
Okay, all right.
The name seems kind of familiar.
Yeah. Commander Yojimbo-san asking the hard questions, he says. How does the station deal with other groups of commanders that are opposed to piracy when our origins are in pirate radio, and some of the crew still engage in piracy in various forms in a personal capacity? Well,
I think
I mean,
I think Yojimbo-san should know. He is.
Yeah.
He is in the station staff.
I mean, you are pretty high up in the station staff, so I'm pretty sure you know what we do. But I mean, for the general knowledge and for the general public, I mean, Radio Sidewinder is comprised of just so many commanders with different backgrounds that honestly, no one gives us any issues, because I mean, while we have our pirates, we also have, you know, completely devoted Federation, Imperial Alliance, you know, everyone. They don't, you know, and they all they're really here for is the radio. I mean, it's just entertainment, really. It's not like we're, you know, doing anything weird.
I don't think we really particularly pick fights with people that oppose piracy, but I don't think, I mean, I won't shy away from defending some of our brethren who are pirates if they should get attacked by those people.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to go out and pick fights with them either.
No.
We fairly try to stay out of conflict, mostly, because we're a radio station. We're the news. We're not out there starting wars and fighting. We've defended from wars before. People have attacked us.
Yeah,
but we haven't really gone after them. We have another question from Commander DMJ659. And he wants to know, he's talking about our focus on Thargoid coverage right now. He wants to know, he thinks it might be a current focus on Thargoid coverage might be a little odd, given there's a lot going on outside of Maya. You know, we have talked a lot about things like Thargoids and the Guardians and INRA and Aegis, and I think that's all related. Though we do focus on Thargoids a lot because it's currently kind of the biggest thing happening, and it hasn't been happening in like 200 years.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty big, you know?
A war with different major powers. We've experienced that before.
Yeah, that always
and
will
we know
happen.
how to talk about it, and even right now, the war between major powers has actually stopped,
Yeah.
which is
But it's because of the Thargoids being such a threat, you know?
exactly. So the whole galaxy, in a way, is kind of focused on the Thargoids. We did briefly touch upon Colonia, and we talked about the Alliance commissioning new ships. And, I mean, we do bring up the other things when they happen, but to be honest, there's just so much happening with the Thargoids right now. And people need to be informed about it, because some people may not know that Aegis has supplied them with weapons. They might be hiding out somewhere in Sagittarius A, waiting for some news that they're, you know, it's safe to come back. You know, and we got to make sure that anybody who's listening to us knows how to deal with that.
Yeah.
But I mean, certain things come up. You know, we'll make sure we take a little time to cover them and try to find some more stories as well. But we're still going to talk about Thargoids a lot.
Yeah, that's inevitable. Okay. We got another question here. It's seems like a little hesitant, but okay. So this question is for Mr. Commander Felix Jefferson.
Oh, hey, that's you.
Hey, that's me. Yeah. Why do you think it's okay to be a slave trading scum? From Commander Stephen Atch. Wait a second.
yeah. Had to see if I could slip one in there.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, that was good. You got me for a second there.
Yeah, I got you. You're still slave trading scum.
Yeah.
All right, we've got a question from Commander Logan Quinn. A very good question, actually. For the first time, I guess, asker, long-time listener. With a vote of no confidence getting closer, do you think the President Hudson will be voted to complete the rest of his term? If not, why, and who would replace him? I think he will, because honestly, while Felicia Winters has not been super happy and her party hasn't been super happy, I think if anything, the return of Jasmina Halsey and her mental state, and the fact that there was no, at least officially, no tampering found with the ship, I don't think anyone is going to go against his term, and I feel like Jasmina Halsey's mental state and her actually technically defecting to the Alliance has only weakened the Democratic Party, or the Liberal Party. And so I think Hudson will be voted to complete the rest of his term. If he wasn't voted in to complete the rest of his term, most likely Felicia Winters would come up because if I recall from the last vote of no confidence with Jasmina Halsey, the entire party system has to switch. The cabinet and all of this, all the members of the party have to go. It's the other party just comes in and takes the place of them, essentially.
Right.
And currently Felicia Winters is the head of the Liberal Party. So despite the fact that some people may have issues with him, he has been very effective in leading the Federation at the moment.
Yeah. And I mean, I don't know. I never met President Hudson, thankfully. I never really want to be honest. But he gave me a nice ship, though. But
yeah, he did give you that Corvette.
But that being said, the way he leads is very interesting. I'm not sure, even if he is voted out, if he will give up that seat. He might try and stir up the Federation.
And I think, but I will say I don't think he's going to be voted out, not just because of what I said before, but especially with the current Thargoid threat. The people and in the Senate as well really rally behind someone who is a very aggressive leader, and he's been very aggressive in his stance against the Thargoids.
I mean, ever since the beginning, he's always said we need to get rid of the Thargoid threat.
Mm-hmm. Both the Emperor Duval and Prime Minister Mahone have both been very conservative in their stance against the Thargoids, saying that they need more time to learn how to communicate with them and make sure that they're actually really a threat and not just hostile because they're scared or something like that. Really want to understand the Thargoids, but they don't have to worry about re-election cycles. They don't have to worry about support from a Senate. I mean, yes, the Emperor has to worry about support from a Senate, but if they don't like her, the most they can do is kill her.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's still pretty extreme, but yeah.
It would basically be a coup against her.
Right.
And, while Denton Patrius is a fan of attacking Thargoids, he's not going to be openly against Duval, and of course, I don't think Zemina Torval likes anybody.
No.
Regardless. No. I think we have one more question.
Yeah, one final question here. Dear Radio Sidewinder, my ship's controls are locked, leaving me stuck 10 kilolight years from human space without an option to rescue. With only comms, life support, kitchen, and lavatory active, what music would you suggest me to listen to while fixing the issue? Commander... Oh, sorry. That was from Commander Adingo.
I mean, do we have to say it? Radio Sidewinder?
I mean, yeah, it should be obvious at this point. If you're contacting us,
if you're contacting us to figure out what you should listen to.
Yeah.
Radio
we have
Sidewinder.
A very wide selection of music.
We do have some pretty good music. We have some very, intense, active music, keep you going if you need to exercise out there. And, we've got some nice calming stuff for when you need to sleep. And, of course, you're going to be stuck 10 Kellys out in human space, which, if you have comms, I don't know why you don't... I don't know why you contact the fuel rats or somebody, but if you're way out there, you might want to know what's happening in the galaxy and in the bubble. And hey, we come in fine right there. You get to listen to the talk show and the news.
Yeah. Actually, we have a bunch of new talk show episodes that have been released recently. Like we said, we were trying to do more. So
yeah, we want to do more. We want to be more active with it. I know there's been some trouble previously, but we really want to keep getting out there and making sure people have some entertainment. And I think on that note, it's almost time to end. So if you are a big fan of Radio Sidewinder, be sure to check out the Radio Sidewinder crew. We've got a Galnet. We've got a nice place where you can come in and chat, just hang out, talk to people, ask for help, get to know new people. It's a great community of pilots, both listeners and crew members out there. Anything you want to add to that?
No, summed it up perfectly.
All right. Well, in that case, I'm Commander Stephen Atronach, and I'm signing off.
And I am Commander Felix Jefferson, signing off. Fly safe, Commander.